Hi folks, I'm Gregory Johnson.
And I'm Shannon Foley.
We're with Cornerstone Home Lending, and today we'd like to talk to you about appraisal gaps. So what does that mean, an appraisal gap, Shannon, and why is that important, especially in today's market?
Right. So you may hear in the Bozeman market particularly, a lot of people are having to pay over asking price or listing price. So let's say a house is listed at $500,000. To get the house under contract, you end up having to go to $520,000. So you're now under contract at $520,000, everything's sailing along, except for you're getting a loan and you need an appraisal. So we order the appraisal after you go under contract, get the appraisal back, and the appraisal comes in at $500,000. So now you're under contract at $520,000, your house is just appraised for $500,000. That can create some issues with financing. However, we have a lot of people that are in this situation right now, and that's what's considered an appraisal gap. So that's when we start looking at different options. It's when it's super important to have a good lender so that you can discuss what the options are in those scenarios. It's very common now. So we have to start looking at creative ways in a competitive market to utilize your financing. Even when the appraisal comes in low, how can we make that work for you?
We have a lot of great technology here to help you really understand how we can make that work. We can't create money, so if you don't have any extra money, that's a problem. So that's the first thing that you really need to understand, that if you just have X amount, you probably can't go over and bridge that gap, that appraisal gap. But we can work with you and show you different options, different things. We can do side-by-side comparisons to really maybe show you that it's not as big a deal that you may think it is. So the bottom line is to get with us and we can kind of help you work through that current situation.
I think it's super important to make sure you're looking at all those options. Really, the only people who it wouldn't work for are people who don't have a lot of money for a down payment, who are already putting the minimum of 3% down, or who are doing 100% financing. That would create issues for their financing, but people who are putting 10% down even, there's gonna be some options there usually. So in today's market, paying over market value or listing price is very common and something that most people are having to do in these competitive offer situations. So just keep that in mind when you're putting together your offer. It may not be the end of the world that you have to go over asking, or that it may not appraise. We can come up with solutions for you. A lot of times your payments are not that different, and it's why it's super important to have a great lender who can help walk you through all of that information.